one last thing before we wrap up. How would you say I love Szczecin in Kazakh language?
Мен
Мен
Szczecin'de
Szczecin'de
жақсы көремін.
жақсы
Көремін.
көремін.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'll have to practice it more though. Hi everyone, welcome again to our program of IntoUS, where we are interviewing international students and figuring out how is their life in Poland and Szczecin is going. So today I have an amazing guest again. This is my actually previous roommate from the dormitory, Aya. Hi Aya.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to see you and meet you. Can you please introduce yourself for our guest? Tell us where you're from, what you're studying, how old are you?
So, my name is Aya. I'm from Kazakhstan, and right now I'm actually doing my master's here in the field of business management. And actually, I graduated my bachelor's as well here. So, as you know, I was struggling last year with my diploma thesis, and I did my global communication field.
This is a very great topic. That's actually why I think I invited you here, because before I've never talked and interviewed people who stayed here in Szczecin for both bachelor's and master's degree, because we've met let's say with you when you were studying on global communications last year, and today you are on business management, which is very interesting. Could you maybe tell me how does it feel to be on a different faculty, I would even say, right? And on a different level of study? Do you feel more serious now, like you're more of an adult or something?
So I wouldn't say that there are huge changes, but there are some remarkable ones. For example, in the case of my bachelor's in global communication, we were more relaxed, I would say, and here we're more focused on the projects, and the students are more busier because they have their work, they have more responsibilities. Some of them, they already have their families. So in this case, yeah, there are some changes. And if we consider, for example, the academic sphere, then during the global communication, we had more, we were more focused on the languages. So in terms of the linguistic sphere, and we had, for example, 2 foreign languages. And here we are studying more like business concepts, and we have more projects. So that's the main differences, I would say.
You are currently closer to my field of studies, to economics, which is very interesting, I would say. But I remember that last year you were always studying, you know, languages and learning them and repeating them, getting ready for the exams. Can you please tell me how many languages do you speak? What did you start learning here? What did you start learning in before, let's say?
So first language is my native language. This is Kazakh language. And I also know Russian, as is widely spoken in Kazakhstan. And we also speak English. So that's a common thing in Kazakhstan, I would say, because, for example, in my case, I had all of my subjects in English at my school. And I started learning French language in my middle school, and then I continued it here. And I took Spanish courses as my second foreign language, which was also a great opportunity. And I know some basics of Polish during my stay here.
So you can say that you speak kind of like 5 languages plus Polish, let's say?
I would say, yeah, but yeah.
That's great. That's amazing. With Polish, since you said that you don't speak Polish that well, my other guest mentioned that lots of Polish people are very helpful. So how did Poland and Polish people meet your expectations when you came here first as an international student who didn't know anything about life in Poland?
I would say that, for example, from the experience of my most international friends, in their opinion, Polish people are more closed, and in my case, I would say just all of my friends are amazing. They are the nicest people ever. For instance, in the case of my friends, I remember in the first year, our dorm was closed. It was like under the construction, so I had no place to stay for 3 days. I was looking for the places, and I just told about it to my friend, and we met literally like that time twice. And she invited me to her house to live there. And that are the small things, but it made so many changes in my life. We became more closer. And I just remember that her dad was making for us like the pancakes or the family dinner all together. So in this case, they are open, and you just have to get to know them better maybe. And in terms of Poland, I would say that for the international students, it's accessible and affordable country because the cost of living is not that high, and for the students, it's actually affordable.
Yeah, I would say it's very important, especially for people who are coming, not from the European countries itself, but from other places, and they want to afford their living in a country with better education, let's say. We were mostly talking about the education part right now with you, but, well, I wanted to ask you about some hobbies. Maybe something that you did in Kazakhstan that you managed to bring here to Poland, or maybe something that you discovered here in Poland and now it's, let's say, the passion of your life. Do you have something like that?
Yeah, sure. Since this summer, I started doing the horse riding. As you know, we love horses. We have lots of sport activities with the horses. And I started like in my hometown, and I decided to continue it here. So I found a stable here. To be honest, it's a bit far away from here. It's about 40 to 50 minutes by car, but it's worth it. So I found their English-speaking trainer. He's from Germany, so we usually do these practicings, and I love my favorite horses there. I hope that one day I can afford one of them.
Would you say that it kind of brings you the feeling of home when you ride it, or like?
Sure. For example, when I feel sad or when I'm not in the mood or I miss my home, I usually go there, and it makes me relax. It's the feeling when you and the horses and you and the nature. The nature is amazing there. So reconnecting with the nature and to be by your own, it helps me a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine, because I think everyone needs, a place when they feel like home, especially while moving. And I think this could be my also question. Do you think, what could you recommend for some students when they think, okay, I think I'm going to go and study in Poland? Mm-hmm. What thing should they have in mind, let's say, for this journey to be successful and interesting and good? What would you say from your perspective, since you've been here for almost 4 years right now?
Mm-hmm. I would say just do it, because it gives you so many opportunities, and you will meet new people, you will discover new cultures, new places. Even in terms of Poland, for example, we have a great location to travel, we have affordable flights. And if we consider the cities in Poland, I know that, for example, in the dorm there are a lot of international students. We live all together, and we usually go to different cities to travel, and each city has their own beauty, and I would say that it's amazing here. And in terms of education, for example, in my case, all of the teachers, they are helpful and they always try to support you. Do you remember like last year when I was writing my thesis, I'm really grateful, for example, for my teacher. She was always supporting me. She was always like, you can do that. You're the good student. So maybe that's one of the reasons why I came back here.
I think it's also one of the reasons how you finished your thesis on 5, right? You did an excellent job. So I just remember all these hours when you were studying and getting ready. And well, this is amazing to hear. Well, if you mentioned like Polish location, tell me what's your favorite city in Poland?
It's a really difficult question, to be honest, because I would say I really liked Warsaw. I'm more into big cities. I'm from the capital in Kazakhstan, so it's more diverse, and people there, they know what to do, and they're always busy. And I also liked a lot Gdansk, and it has, I don't know how to explain the feeling, but I feel like I belong to the city, and I have lots of friends from Gdansk, and we were hanging out there, and the nature also is amazing there, I would say.
Would you stay in Gdańsk after your studies if you had the chance maybe to work, to leave, or would you go back?
I haven't decided yet, but I will say it, maybe.
Yeah, because I also, think of all the opportunities that Poland can give, and I think it's an amazing city here, Szczecin, or amazing country to stay. And I also understand what you're talking about when you say that Warsaw is, like a very vibrant city, because once I moved here to Szczecin, I also felt that this is a very calm city in a good way,
True.
But sometimes it's very nice to go and have some drive somewhere else. Well, before we, let's say, wrap up our interview, I am, let's say, asking some of the guests that I am interviewing if they could teach me some basic phrases in their own language. So since you said that you're native in Kazakh and not only Russian, and I'm very used to talking with you in Russian, and not in English, could you teach me maybe how to say, as I asked my previous, for example, guest, how to say, let's say, thank you and goodbye in Kazakh?
So thank you, it will be Rahmet.
Rahmet?
Yes.
Okay.
And goodbye, it's Saubol.
Saubo.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
perfect.
Would you say that there is any kind of similar languages that you've learned that are similar to Kazakh, or no?
I mean, we have the root of more Turkish languages, and they are, we can understand, for example, Turkish language, Kyrgyz language, and the other ones, so they are quite similar between each other.
Okay, and can you tell me one last thing before we wrap up? How would you say I love Szczecin in Kazakh language?
Мен
Szczecin'de
жақсы көремін.
жақсы көремін.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'll have to practice it more though, so I can do it. But again, thank you very much, Aya, for being here with me, for sharing your story, because I felt amazing during this interview. I hope you also did.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, great. So we will see each other also quite soon in just the dormitory or somewhere else. But again, thank you. Goodbye. And goodbye to you too. Thank you for staying here. Today with me was Aya from Kazakhstan, who studied here for both bachelor and master's degrees. And I hope you found this interview very, very interesting. Bye.